Before all that, though, an undignified squabble. That's how the dispute over Richard III's final resting place has been described.
Yes, the High Court has been told that the government should have had a rethink about the licence to exhume the lost king once the bones were identified.
The University of Leicester's intention to bury his remains in the city's cathedral has been challenged by a group claiming to be distant relatives. Here's our Chief News reporter, Quentin Rayner.
The last Plantagenet king died on Bosworth Field. More than 500 years later, the battle is now a legal one. The Judicial Review has to decide whether or not there was sufficient public consultation before a decision was taken to reinter Richard III's remains in Leicester Cathedral. The university say they made it clear to the Ministry of Justice that if they found the lost king, they intended to reinter the remains in the nearby cathedral. It argued it had no duty to consult and has no case to answer. However, the woman who campaigned for years to find the king and who at one stage interrupted today's proceedings doesn't think the university should ever have been granted the licence to exhume.
The licence should have been with Leicester City Council, and Leicester City Council were going to consult. And if they'd held the licence as they were meant to, we would never have been in this situation. There would have been no Plantagenet alliance, we would have done the consultation, and Richard would now be buried in Leicester.
The Plantagenet alliance claim that as distant relatives, they should have been consulted about Richard's final resting place, and that should be York Minster.
We believe that there should be consultation where he should be reburied, because basically Leicester's made that decision to have him buried in Leicester without any other consultation, any other parties involved. So we want to make the table bigger and invite interested parties in.
And how confident are you of success?
Of course, we went into battle to win. We didn't go into battle to lose.
On behalf of the Alliance, Gerard Clark QC told the court that the Secretary of State Chris Greyling's decision to grant the licence was flawed because he didn't carry out a proper consultation once the remains were identified as Richard III's. Mr Clark said at that point Chris Greyling should have had a rethink and consulted with the likes of English heritage, churches and distant relatives. He said all this mattered because the monarchy is woven into the fabric of this country. And what we're talking about is the last lost king of England since 1066. The Judicial Review continues. Quentin Rayner, BBC East Midlands Today at the High Court.